Good morning. Welcome into the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9 on your radio dial, the Martin Houston Show fan page on Facebook. It is a beautiful Friday morning, and it is game time eve, the day before the big show for the Alabama Crimson Tide. The countdown officially ends. When you wake up tomorrow, it will be game day, and we are excited around here in Tuscaloosa. Glad that you have decided to start your Friday off with the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9 on your radio dial. And, of course, you can find us on all of our social media outlets at Martin Houston Live on Facebook and YouTube, as well as Martin Houston 35 on Twitter. And it take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. Good morning, Joe. How you doing, sir?
Oh, hanging in there, Martin. We made it to Friday, and we're really in the middle of the football weekend after Thursday night football, high school and college action last night. So we're all in the thick of it.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of football. I guess if you go back to Wednesday, UAB putting a whooping on Jacksonville State, and then last night several games, which we'll get into here in just a moment, and then of course tonight having several games going on tonight, and as well as excuse me, as well as, of course, the full slate on tomorrow. So last night, did you get to watch any of the football happening around the country?
Martin, I was actually at Holt High School last night watching Wilcox Central play the Holt Ironmen. The Holt Ironmen won their first game since fall of 2019.
Oh man, congratulations to Holt. That is awesome that they got that victory, and so kudos to those guys. Interesting football last night. Ohio State. We'll go through a couple things, but while we're going through a couple of those things, I want to remind you. Go ahead and be thinking about your keys to victory for Alabama. Still looking for score predictions. You need to get those in today. You need to get your score predictions in today. And the tiebreaker for the University of Alabama versus Miami is Bryce Young's passing yards. So need to get those in. So looking for your keys to victory, looking for score predictions. And then just a little fun, we'll have Joe want you to be thinking about the following. Who gets the first sack? Who gets the first catch? Who gets the first touchdown? Who gets the first interception of the season? And will the first play for Alabama be a run or pass? So just kind of think through those things as well. And then we'll take a little jaunt around the SEC, the nation, as far as looking at scoreboards. Before we move into any of that, I want to send out condolences. It's hard to believe in back-to-back days that I'm having to send out condolences to now a former teammate who passed away on yesterday, and was found on yesterday. All-American Keith McCants. Send condolences to he and to his family and to those who have been left behind. Very, very tragic story. Don't know the specifics or the details of it, but appears to have been, drug related, unfortunately. But either way, there's still family and friends that are left behind to deal with the aftermath and the loss. Keith McCants was, Joe. I could not imagine what Keith McCants would do in today's football. Back when he was playing, he was 6'3.5", 6'4", maybe 6'5". I mean, weighed about 260, ran like a 4.40. I remember when we played Miami in 1989. He did it to Auburn as well in '89, but in 1989 we're playing Miami in the Sugar Bowl, and he runs a wide receiver down in similar fashion to what George Teague did. Not as dramatic, didn't end up taking the ball, but the guy could play from sideline to sideline, literally, and of course was in a top 5 pick into the NFL draft, and but unfortunately, Joe, what happens a lot of times is guys can't make the transition because they've been lone rangers. They've been able to freelance a lot, and I think it caught up with Keith at that next level. But unfortunate, very very unfortunate, and I'm sure that we will have not we have stories up on Tide 109 regarding Keith McCants, as well as Coach Jim Fuller. We'll have those stories up at Tide 109. So go check them out if you want to find out more about those individuals. All right, back to a couple of quick highlights of games last night, and then we'll circle down to Alabama games that may be of interest to Alabama fans that happened last night. Ohio State wins 45-31, Joe. I think they had 5 touchdowns that were over 50. No, I think one of them was 38. The rest of them were over 50 yards. So it was a big play show for Ohio State. Minnesota, when I turned it on, Minnesota had control of the game going in at halftime, but came back out, and Ohio State hit a couple big plays, and they just could not hold on to or keep up with the pace in which Ohio State was scoring. Interesting side note, Joe, we hadn't talked much about name, image, and likeness. What's the kid's name? Whatever.
Quinn
Ewers, the young man who of course, he did not see the field. I think he's running third team, but signed a $1.4 million name, image, and likeness deal. To me, that's the negative of the name, image, and likeness. When he, excuse me, a kid, he went his senior year of high school, and he said it so he could start making his money. Well, game, set, match, however they said, he did that, but he's probably going to ride the bench as Shroud, the quarterback for Ohio State, is a freshman, and he played. He didn't, the numbers may not be the best, but man, he has a pretty deep ball and athletic, and he looked like he's in full command of that team. And so I guess somewhere down the road he'll fight for an opportunity. But on a quick side note, um, uh, the gymnast for Auburn, Olympic gold medalist Suni, I think is how you say it. Did you see where she is on Dancing with the Stars?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, Sony Lee. No, I didn't.
Yeah. So that's one of those things. Yes, she was the first person they announced as one of the participants in for Dancing with the Stars this year. So that shows you.
They don't go to class at Auburn, so she'll have plenty of time.
You're so bad. but that's enough. That's a positive of the name, image, and likeness, right? I mean, because that's something she would not have been able to do before. So, kudos to her. But anyway, quick another side note, and we'll go to break here and come back and talk some Alabama football, because I know that's what you want to talk about today. Interesting, UCF, Joe, pulled out the win last night, 36-31. Coach Avalos with Boise State, the replacement for Auburn's new head coach, Harsin, actually faced off against Auburn's former head coach in Gus Malzahn. Had a 3-touchdown lead, Joe, with 47 seconds to go in the second quarter. Called the timeout, gave UCF a chance to regroup. They came back out and got the third down, went on to score with like 8 seconds to go, and from that point scored 23 unanswered points and ended up winning 36-31. And the Gus Malzahn offense produced 318 passing yards, 4 touchdowns on 25 completions and on 37 attempts. The running back had 33 carries for 172 yards, 5 yards a carry. Quarterback had 12 for 64 for 5.3. Gus Malzahn off to a good start. Started off really, really bad. I mean, it looked really bad, but managed to pull it out. Things not so good for Boise State's new head coach. He's already getting attacked because he made some questionable calls late in the game as well. So coming back, we'll start talking about Alabama Crimson Tide. I wanted to give you a little time to think about your keys to victory, as well as who gets the first sack, touchdown, who gets the first catch, who gets the first interception, and what will be the first play call. If you were calling the plays, would you come out running or throwing if you're Alabama? We'll talk about that more right here on the Alabama Crimson Tide network. I mean, not network, home for Alabama Crimson Tide football, Tide 100.9. This is the Martin Houston Show.
Traffic. From the towns of Nissan Traffic Center, everything looking pretty good on this Friday morning. No wrecks, traffic pretty light. Of course, if you do see conditions throughout the morning that folks need to hear about, just give us a call. 205-886-8886. Come see your hometown dealer, Townsend Nissan of Tuscaloosa, with a great selection, rebates, and low finance rates.
Tide 100.9. It's 66 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Scott Smith and Sophomart Design, doing business for 17 plus years, specializing in graphic design services, commercial printing, promotional products, advertising specialties, and so much more. Basically, any and everything you would need to advertise advertise, promote, and grow your business. Through strong partnerships, strong customer service, and creative ideas, they'll help you market and grow your business. Give Scott a call at 205-292-4680 or email scottis@comcast.net and visit them online at southmarkdesign.com.
Interact with the Martin Houston Show by calling us at 205-342-9904 or tuning into the Martin Houston Show on Facebook.
All right, Dr. Houston, you're up in 3, 2, 1.
All right. Welcome back in. Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9. Man, it is game time. It's time to get things rolling. Wanting to invite you in. Once again, we're looking for the keys to victory. We're looking for who will be the first? Who gets the first touch, sack, catch, TD, interception? You can even answer if will Bryce Young pull it down? Will he have the first rush of the year, or will it be Brian Robinson or Jace McClellan? Who's going to be the first one? And if you're the offense coordinator, what play you calling first? So invite you to get in on the conversation at 205-342-9904, 205-342-9904, the Taco Casa hotline open for business. Curtis Lewis said, the biggest key for me is offensive line must play well. Offensive line must play well. The second key is the defensive interior line for Alabama must dictate the game. And interception goes to Davis, and sack goes to Christian Harris. Jalen Armour Davis gets the first INT, and Christian Harris gets the first sack. So like those numbers, And once again, I want to invite you to get in on the tiebreaker this week, and the tiebreaker is the passing yards for Bryce Young. Couple scores we have from earlier in the week. Curtis Lewis, 35-17. Bama with 276 yards for Bryce. Virgil Williams throwing in 38-10, 285, 38-10, 285 Bama. Looking for more scores, so get those in right now. CJ Watson throwing up 38 to 24 to 27. 38, 24 to 27. So Alabama going to fall right now based on those numbers. Joe, we're going to fall a little short of last year's average. What's your thoughts?
It makes perfect sense to fall a little below last year's average. What they averaged 42, 38 points last year during last year's season.
Yeah, it was they came close to 50, 40 something, 40 high 40s.
Yeah, I think it was 42, 45, something like that. But I mean, come on, that's absurd. That's absurd offense. Of course, we're going to a little regression to the mean, and I don't think that really necessarily means anything bad about Alabama or its offense.
That's right, absolutely. I was talking to a kid at practice the other day, and they were talking about, man, I'm better than anybody out here. I said, you know that doesn't necessarily mean you're good, right? And he looked at me like I was crazy, and I said, you know, you could compare yourself. I was punishing him because he had to do push-ups, and he did really bad push-ups. And he said, I do the best push-ups out here. I said, that just means that everybody else does really bad push-ups. And on the flip side of that, Alabama could really, really be good offensively this year and possibly be even better than last year. Doesn't mean that they would average more points, or they could be really, really good and fall short of last year. And it's not a reflection on this year's team because I think it's going to be different. Joe, you remember you asked me a question the other day. I think it was part of Deal No Deal, and you said, what impact did I think that fans were going to have an impact on the game? if with the full stadium. Last night, the Ohio State Minnesota game, I bet you the announcers mentioned it 10 times about the crowd noise and the Minnesota fans and how early in that game they totally, I mean, like they were, it messed Ohio State up, I believe, from the way they made it sound. You know, you can't see everything, from a communication standpoint and things like that, Joe, as well as sometimes the announcers, because the camera that we see at home may only show, a coach on the sideline or a player on the field, but they made it seem like it was just impacting the young quarterback a lot. So, and that was one of your questions. So, with that bit of information, how do you think the Alabama crowd, the crowd in the dome impacts either team either way?
I think it's going to get after Miami just based off of the way that ticket sales have kind of fallen. I expect a pretty heavy Alabama crowd in Atlanta. And the Alabama fan base is intelligent during games enough to calm it down while Bryce Young and company are on offense, but they'll turn it up when Will Anderson, Christian Harris, and crew are out on defense. So I think that it will be something for De'Aaron King and his experienced offensive line to overcome. Luckily, he has a very experienced offensive line, but it will be something for them to overcome.
Yeah, they without a doubt they are an extremely old team. 5 starters back, 190 starts, a fifth year quarterback in De'Aaron King because of the injury. So a lot of experience on that offensive side of the ball. By the way, Joe, 48.5 points per game is what Alabama averaged last year. As good as we thought they were, I guess they were even better. So
I mean, that's amazing, and to expect this Alabama offense to maintain that pace is probably an absurd expectation. Even if they go 10 points less, 38 points a game, man, you're still rocking and rolling. Have a great offense.
Yeah, the thing about that, we could score 30. We could hit everybody's predictions so far and still be over 10 points below what last year's team averaged. And that's crazy, but that's where we're at. So let's get to Robert once again, looking for the biggest keys to victory. Offensive line, according to Curtis Lewis, must play well. Next, the defensive interior must dictate this game, take it to that Miami offensive front, and then the first interception of the game goes to Jalen Armour Davis, and the first sack goes to Christian Harris. That's his predictions. What's yours? Need your score and or your keys to the game. Let's go to Robert in Mobile. Robert, you're in with the Martin Hughes Show. What's on your mind, sir?
Hey, man. Oh, that regression to the mean. You talked my language there. Hey, look like Curtis Lewis took all the good answers now.
Yeah.
Kind of tough to follow into that. Doesn't be what those are the keys to the game. No, our line plays and our defense is going to play. So, darn, guys he picked on was the defense on who get the first sack and all that.
Well, there's a lot of other options potentially for that first sack because he said Christian Harris, a middle linebacker, would get the first sack, not the vaunted outside linebackers, the Terminator. The easy answer is the Terminator. I think Will Anderson, but that's not who Curtis Lewis went with. So I thought that was interesting, and he went with the off corner. Jalen Armour Davis, he went with the off guy. So, we'll see. A lot of times that first time is a lot of times it's that extra defensive back that gets to come in the game.
Oh yeah, I mean, no matter who we pick, it'll probably be somebody else. But I guess I go Will Anderson now since I was thinking about. Don't they troll, but I think it'll be too busy telling everybody what to do. Just no doubt about that crowd noise affected that quarterback for Ohio State yesterday.
Did you see it?
Yeah, I watched the game.
Yeah, I mean, did what a difference in the first half and the second half, right?
The second half was still shaky. Mm-hmm. Like you said, there was a lot of big plays on there that they had to rely on to to break it open for them. Fortunately for them, Minnesota, classic Big Ten team, they played just a really good offense. They've been in some deep trouble.
Yeah.
That early on in the game, so with the way they were playing. But crowd noise was definitely a huge factor, and there's no question about that. As far as our crowd noise, it'll affect more, like you guys said, it'll be an Alabama heavy fan base there in Atlanta. So it'll affect the defense more than the offense in that case, because, when they're yelling and screaming at the Miami's offense, and the defense can't hear anymore. So how well the hand signals work, that's going to play a big factor in it.
Well, and that's where having an experienced play caller, an experienced leader, and a guy who understands is going to help Alabama as well, because the defense is now change and stuff almost as much as offenses do. So if the offense audibles, this is where we'll see the value of a Toa, his ability to recognize what they're trying to do and maybe even be able and good enough and smart enough to get the defense in the right play by just him seeing what's going on the sideline from the head coaches. That will be a huge, huge factor. And even, of course, it'll be a huge factor on road game. I mean, neutral site games and technically home games for the defense more than it will for the offense.
There's no question about that. Let's see on offense. I'm gonna think I'm looking for us to return more back to smash mouth. Run style of offense that by itself will lower the scoring average. So I'm looking for not Chase Brian Robinson to get the first touchdown.
Okay.
So to establish ourselves as a running team. Not so much, that we only run, but more of a balanced running team. We were very balanced last year, weren't we?
Yes. Yeah.
It'd be like, it was just so perfect last year. You're going to be perfect 2 years in a row. Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But again, that team was, but that's like you said, that was a good thing. That team was so high that even the decline of a slight decline is still really high.
Right.
So you'll have to average 48 points a game. That's not necessary.
4 years ago, 30.
They won't be necessary.
4 years ago, 38 points would have been like 2 touchdowns better than what we were averaging. Not quite, but close. So yeah, it's
so with this defense, we don't need 48 points in any game to win it. We should hopefully we won't. So that'll be a plus, because we'll eventually get a few blowouts, but averaging that over the entire season, that's unrealistic. Like all the other things with getting like Mac Jones 4,500 yards and all that is unrealistic to expect out of Bryce Young coming out of the game. Robert's not even there. I mean, there's a reason why that's the most anyone's ever done at Alabama.
Right.
That's not easy to do.
Right.
So you can expect that, year in and year out. Come on. Sure enough not to expect that.
Robert, we're Alabama. Of course, we expect it. You got a score for me?
Oh, sorry, man. Yeah, I'm going to go the 41-14 route. Bama's good, but if our defense is where we think it is, then they don't get over 14 points. And watching what I saw out of Ohio State last night, man, that could be that Ohio State is more than shut downable right now. So that'll be a significant factor. I'm going 41-14.
All right. How many yards for Bryce Young?
Like I said, they're going to be run heavy, so I'm going to put them in around the 270 mark, somewhere around here.
All right. Appreciate you, man. Have a good one. Roll Tide. All right. Coming back on the other side, we'll continue the conversation right here on the Martin Houston Show. We're looking for your keys to victory. Will it be that D-line dominating Miami's O-line? Will it be the play of Alabama's offensive line? What other keys to victory do you see that are important to Alabama? We're going to get Joe and I's responses on the other side. Also, who do you see getting the first touchdown, first sack, first interception, first catch? Will Alabama start the game off with a run or pass? You can bring all that to the conversation right here, 205-342-9904.
100.9 Traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, traffic's still looking pretty good. Just a bit of congestion on 15th Street near MLK Junior Boulevard. If you see other conditions throughout the morning, just give us a call, 205-886-8886. Come see your hometown dealer, Townsend Nissan of Tuscaloosa, with a great selection, rebates, and low finance rates. I'm Captain Ray.
Hello, this is Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show, and I want to tell you about one of our great sponsors, Overflow Express Wash. Their mission is to provide great customer service with a showroom clean car and an exceptional customer service experience. They have the basic car wash that starts at $7, but you need to check out the premium wash packages, which start as low as $12 and go up to $20. They also have a membership wash club that you can get for starting at $23.99, going up to $39.99. In other words, just double the regular premium package, drop a penny, and you can be one of the great members of Overflow Express Wash. My family and I keep our cars looking good inside and out by using Overflow Express Wash. They're located on Skyland Boulevard right next door to Alabama 1, or you can find them online at overflowexpresswash.com. Andy Phillips and his team look forward to making you a part of their team.
At Shell, we know from the time you get up to the time you wrap up, there's a lot of meetups, eat-ups, and hurry-ups. So come to Shell and get 3 things done at once. Fill up with Shell V Power Nitro Plus to help keep your engine running like new. Save up with the Fuel Rewards program and never pay full price for gas again. And snack up with in-store rewards to save even more at the pump. Make the most of the stop you need to make with Shell. And engines that continuously use Shell V Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline. See full terms and conditions at fuelrewards.com.
The best biscuits in town, made from scratch. Buttermilk biscuits, sandwiches, and bite-sized snacks, sausage, ham, chicken, and many more varieties. Get them freshly baked or pre-cooked and bake them yourself. Where? Nowhere else but the Biscuit Shop, Essex Square Shopping Center, Northport. TheBiscuitLady.com.
Nick Saban calls it the process. John Maxwell said that everything rises and falls on it. And Coach Wooden said it's what you learn after you think you know it all that makes the difference. What am I talking about? Leadership and personal development. Is your organization, your school, your church, your family, are they receiving the proper level of leadership development and personal development? If not, the Empowerment Center for Leadership and Mentoring can help you with that. We have our pep talks, which is a 1 to 1.5 hour lunch and learn, which we can customize to meet your needs, or we have some topics that we present that we know can help your organization. And if you're looking for one-on-one mentoring and coaching, we can also assist you with that. Visit peptalks35.com. That's peptalks35.com, or send an email to martin@martinhouston.org. That's the Empowerment Center for Leadership and Mentoring.
Welcome back to the Martin Houston Show, the sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team, on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
All right, time to kick off the second half. Let's have a better second half than Boise State and Minnesota did, as they both lost significant leads in the second half. Let's keep things rolling right here on the Martin Houston Show. Want to invite you to get in on the conversation at 205-342-9904. Joe, let's have a little conversation on this. Who gets the first, and then we'll flip to keys to victory. All right, who you got getting the first sack of the day?
Chris Allen.
Chris Allen. Isn't it interesting? We all believe. Who do you believe is going to lead this team in sacks this year?
Oh, probably Will Anderson.
Probably Will Anderson. But if I'm Miami, I'm not going to let Will Anderson get off either. And so I haven't decided which player yet, because I don't know how they're going to do third team yet. But I'm thinking I might go with one of the interior linemen. Is it okay if I go with one of the interior linemen? Because based on I think it's Tim Smith. If Tim Smith's in the game, I think Tim Smith gets the first sack. as an interior lineman, because I believe that their protection is gonna be to stop that outside edge rush of Alabama, and they're gonna believe that their veteran center can handle Alabama's interior line and more one-on-one blocking. And so if it's Tim Smith, that's who I'm going with. I think he's going to be the guy. So who do you got getting the first catch of the day on the offensive side of the ball?
I'm going to go John Mechie.
John Mechie. All right. I don't know if you got to see the Ohio State game last night. I know you said you didn't because you were working. Holt, who got their first win. Kudos to Holt Ironman. Last night, Ohio State just dumped it off to the running back, and he went about 75 yards. True freshman, lightning. Is that what's going to happen? That Alabama's going to bring in a third down back? Nah, I'm going with either the inside slot guy. I hadn't decided yet whether it be Slade Bolden or the tight end. I'm going off the cuff. It should be one of the other guys. I guess the backup question: will we run it first or pass it first?
Oh, we're gonna run first.
We're gonna call a run play. Opening play is gonna be a run. Okay.
Right on the left side, Evan Neal and Javen Cohen.
All right. So you're going specific. Not are we just not gonna run it. You're saying we're gonna run it to the left side. I see that being inside zone or more to the outside off of Evan Neal's left hip or right hip. So that we were going to be watching it. I'm going to say that we will open it up with a run play, and if it's not a run play, but I'm thinking it's going to be a run. If not, we may just try to hit them off the top and make a statement with our new offense coordinator, new quarterback. First catch, Slade Bolden. Slade Bolden. All right, who gets first TD?
Brian Robinson from the goal line, pretty close. Powers at right hand.
So we can't all say the same answer. I'm going to go with your guy who gets the first catch. Mechie gets the first touchdown. Yeah, Mechie gets first touchdown. My alternative is one of our tall wide receivers. We actually use a 50-50 ball near the goal line. Who gets the first interception?
First interception, I'm going to go Malachi Moore.
In his star role coming in?
He's going to be able to make a play on the ball.
Yeah.
Probably playing heads up on the slot receiver. I think he's got really good ball skills. So
yeah.
You got to roll the dice on somebody in the back end. It really depends on who gets thrown at first.
Yeah, and that really is so true. When you look at it, you may think, well, Josh Jobe is our best defensive back, which means that he's probably not going to have as many opportunities to get a pick. So that flips it to the other corner, and I think that's what Curtis Lewis was thinking when he picked Armour Davis as the guy. You're picking Malachi Moore. Will it be a linebacker? Will it be one of our All-American, preseason All-American linebackers, or will it be one of the safeties? I'm going to go with Helm. Who has he been a surprise guy for you, Joe? Kind of like we were talking about all the stars, and last year Brian Branch and Malachi Moore came in as true freshmen and kind of jumped up there. I guess the question is, Helm is a starter, but have we confirmed that he's going to play? Have you? Because I know he was dealing with the injury and all of that.
I'm sorry, I was clicking some buttons.
That's okay.
Confirm who's playing?
Helm, DeMarco Helms. I know he.
Actually, the Monday update from DeMarco Helms was that he was going to start running this week.
Okay. Yeah.
Just kind of extrapolate that out. That doesn't sound very good for somebody who relies on speed cutting.
Right. And that's it.
this week.
So probably be Branch in his spot, potentially. Let me look at the depth chart here real quick. Brian Branch is his backup, so I'm going to go with Brian Branch. I think that free safety is going to be the guy.
Here you go, Mark. This is from last night, from Hey Coach last night.
Okay.
Just on Hey Coach, Nick Saban was talking about LeBron Ray and DeMarco Helms, and said they've both been practicing this week, but he said there's going to be a game time decision for Saturday.
Okay. And Helm is one of the guys who, to me, probably made as big a move this offseason as any player. That's what I was asking you. Has he kind of been – because when we were talking, I'm assuming that free safety battle was Brian Branch and, Malachi Moore. And I'm still wondering, has Moore completely recovered from the back injury that sidelined him at the end of last year? But Helm, Saban, a few press conferences back, just talked about how he had improved and how he had, got into his ball skill, his leadership, etc. So we'll be watching that. All right. Coming back on the other side, I'll get your keys to victory on the other side. Let's go ahead and get the break here. We'll do keys to victory. We'll give you our score, our prediction, and maybe highlight a couple of games around the SEC and or nation that should be of interest to you. You listen to the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9.
100.9 traffic.
From the towns of Nissan Traffic Center, traffic's still looking pretty good. Just a bit of congestion on 15th Street near MLK Junior Boulevard. If you see other conditions throughout the morning, just give us a call, 205-886-8886. Come see your hometown dealer, Townsend Nissan of Tuscaloosa, with a great selection, rebates, and low finance rates. I'm Captain Ray.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread.
Good Friday morning, Northport City Council President Jeff Hogg made the motion. The council then voted unanimously to allocate $700,000 to acquire 151 acres of property from the Blackwater Solid Waste Authority. It's in hopes of utilizing that land for recreational purposes. Northport First Funds will be utilized to purchase the property for what could be the future site of an aquatic and recreation center. Click TuscaloosaThread.com for more local news, sports, and weather coverage. It's free 24 hours a day. I'm Don Hartwick.
Hello, this is Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show, and I want to tell you about Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing. If you're looking for a way to add value to your home, make your flower beds pop, make your landscaping stand out from your neighbors, then Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing can help you do just that. They have numerous styles, but they feature the Moroccan Stone Curb Series, which includes 4 great styles and unlimited color choices. That's Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing. They are the one that can help you stand out from your neighbors. Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing, 205-331-6823. You may also find yourself with the need for a custom size stone or custom shaped stone. Then Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing can help with that as well. Paul Fuller and his team are waiting on your call right now for that free quote. And if you tell them that Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show told you to stop by, you'll get a big discount. So call Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing at 205-331-6823 or visit them online at Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing, LLC.
We know it's lonely at the top, but we don't mind.
National championship number 18. 13 in all. Absolute perfection.
Roll Tide. Join us Saturday as the Crimson Tide brave the storm against the Miami Hurricanes in the season opener. Our coverage begins at 11:30 on your home for Bama football.
Start fall with everything to do business better during Dell Technologies Labor Day event. Save up to 45% on select business PCs with Windows 10 Pro. Power your workday with savings on Dell servers, monitors, docks, and other accessories, plus free shipping on everything. Do more with modern devices and Windows 10 Pro. Call 877-ASK-DELL for a Dell Technologies advisor who can help you find the right tech. That's 877-ASK-DELL for business specials during Dell's Labor Day event.
The sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team. The Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
All right, the Alabama One Insurance 2-minute warning. Alabama One Insurance, alabamaoneinsurance.com. We will review your current coverages, reduce your premium, and you can relax knowing you're properly covered. Visit alabamaoneinsurance.com, alabamaoneinsurance.com, and request a quote there, and we will be glad to follow back up with you, get that quote out to you, and make sure that you can relax knowing that you're properly covered. Also, while you're there, pivot over to alabama1.org and take advantage of our current promotion, refi, reduce, and ride up to $250 cash back, 60 days, no pay, premium rates as low as 1.99. That's alabama1insurance.com and alabama1.org. Alabama one together. All right, Joe, let's take a few minutes here and talk a little bit more about the keys to victory, and then make a quick jaunt around the SEC and look at a couple of games. So, keys to victory. What do you have as the keys to victory?
I think Alabama needs to really play disciplined up front, controlling Derek King, not letting him escape the pocket, and play disciplined against the Miami offensive line. I think that the key is not to get out of the rushing lanes and to create opportunities for Derek King to exploit gashes or holes in the Alabama front.
And of course, we talked about the D-line, O-line. We've talked about that. Had to play on the offensive line. And that was my third thing, was containment. And that's what you just described. Keep him bottled up in the backfield, not letting him break off, big runs, et cetera, no big plays. And I think you make this Miami team earn what they get, earn their keep, then Alabama is going to be in really good shape. From an offensive standpoint, I think the key is that we play clean football, that we execute what we want to run and what we want to do. And, of course, that gets into, no turnovers and effective third down play calling and play execution. So that was my thing. Did you have anything else from a keys to victory standpoint?
Well, I think that's going to be the main matchup in the game. I think that I think Alabama's going to run the ball well. I think that you look back at the last year's where Miami struggled, and North Carolina ended up having two 200-yard rushers in their game where they put up 60 points.
Yeah,
I think 62 to something. But I think for Alabama, if the defensive front can play well and contain Derek King, then it should be an early night for all of Alabama fans, and we all should be celebrating Will Anderson's 20th birthday weekend, without any stress. I think if Miami's only hope, in my opinion, is to keep up with Alabama, and because I think we're gonna play well offensively, and I think that we have the talent and the weapons to get after this Miami defense. Their linebacking core is not really that impressive, and so really, as long as we can slow Miami down, we don't even have to stop them. We just have to slow them down and keep them from keeping up with the Alabama offense. I think that we will have a pretty comfortable evening.
All right, and I'm agreeing with you on that. Do you have a score for us?
77-0. I'll go. I guess it's about time for me to determine one, right? We'll go 38 to. I'll go 38-17.
All right. How many passing yards for Bryce?
Bryce Young, I'm going to go 285.
285. All right. And I'm torn between us scoring 6 touchdowns and 5 touchdowns. But I think Riker gets 2 field goals. So right now that would put me at either 41 for Alabama or what's that? 48. So And if I get to 48, I'm putting them right where they were last year. And I think we may be a little bit off because I think Miami's offense will have, the ball a little bit more. So I'm going to say 41-17. So 41-17 with 225 passing yards for Bryce Young because he's not going to get to stay in the whole game. All right. Let's look at a couple other things as we make a couple jaunts around. Joe, when we look at the SEC, of course, LSU heading out to UCLA for their first time in the Rose Bowl is what I heard, which is kind of interesting. But who you got, LSU, UCLA?
LSU is going to beat them pretty badly. UCLA is not a good football team.
Yeah, and UCLA killed Hawaii. So I was like, ooh, either
not a good football team.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You're like, oh God, how bad is Hawaii? Because UCLA, like you said, I don't think UCLA is very good. Ole Miss in Louisville. Kiffin start the things off right for him.
Yeah, I think Lane Train and company follows up Alabama's win with a win on Sunday. Oh no, Monday. So we'll have 2 Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl wins for the SEC.
All right, that's Ole Miss taking on Louisville. I got Ole Miss and I have LSU as well. Hey, Tennessee, congratulations, Tennessee. Josh Heupel started off last night with the win, 38-6. So kudos to those guys. Of course, the other big game I'd like to get your thoughts on, Georgia versus Clemson.
Well, I think it's going to be the best game of the weekend, and I'm glad that it's not competing with the Alabama window. But you know what, Martin? I'm going to go Clemson. Give me the Tiger Rag. The Clemson Tigers will defeat Georgia.
Yeah, and I'm torn over that one. Will they take care of business? Georgia over Clemson. I had Clemson in a close one. I think it's going to come down real quick. I think it's going to come down to the quarterback play for both of these guys. Does DJ, pick up and take the reins and run with this program? And does JT Daniels finally live up to the hype of what he came out of high school with? Came in, we forget, as a true freshman, was playing for USC, had supplanted a couple guys, and then got injured. And then, of course, has had a little different journey since then. Which quarterback has the best game, JT Daniels or DJ?
I'm sorry, Martin. I was pulling up.
Yes, it's okay. No, I was saying JT Daniels, and of course, it's kind of crazy to think that 3 of the 4 quarterbacks in the Miami, Alabama, Georgia, Clemson games all kind of come from the same area, Joe, of California, played same high schools and or competed against each other in their high school days. I was asking which guy has the best game, DJ or JT?
I'm probably going to go DJ Uiagalelei. I think that that kid's got a special ability, both in running and passing. I think he's got kind of a calm demeanor. He kind of gives me a little bit of Jalen vibes with his mental mindset.
Yeah.
So I think at least for week 1, he will have the best week 1 appearance.
Yeah. And what about all 3? Does he have the best of the 3 California kids?
Yeah, sure. But probably, no, and that's no knock on Bryce. I think
right.
DJ's game. I think Clemson's going to have to call for him to play a pretty strong game to beat Georgia. So I think he'll have the best of the 3.
And I think he probably needs to have the best of the 3, Joe, if his team's going to win. I think he has to play better than JT and Bryce for Clemson to beat Georgia. I think Alabama could have a closer game if Bryce doesn't play well, but I think Alabama could beat them without him playing, his best game. But I think DJ has to play well with Clemson in their restart after the Trevor Lawrence era. Alabama starting over after Mac. Alabama takes care of the Miami Hurricanes with a 41-17 win. Bryce Young, 225 yards. Hey, listen, We'll be back on Monday to talk to you about the good, the bad, and the ugly. Don't forget to watch Who is Your Player of the Game. We'll be talking about that on Monday as well. And we'll be expecting you to call in. Congratulations. Football is finally here. Football is finally here. Alabama Crimson Tide takes on the Miami Hurricanes on tomorrow. Roll Tide. Remember this, trust in the Lord always. Lean not your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. Roll Tide.
Thank you for listening to the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app. Tide 100.9 Traffic.